Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody? Hope you had a good night. I am fine. Waiting for my pita bread to warm up. Almost. Morning, Alex. How are you? So yesterday's play, I end up with the over in the Boise game, which doesn't get there. Close, but no cigar. But it was a small bet. I don't like these Friday games. Let's see. So USC wins 42-20. Boise wins 29-24. And Louisville wins 31-27. So, of course, I like Louisville, but I play Boise instead. Boise gets a 53. We needed a 57, I believe, or 58. One more touchdown. They scored early in the fourth quarter, and that was it. It was crazy. So that happens, but it's a small play. That's why I don't like the Friday games. Somebody emails me, there's a big lock on Vegas, which loses. And this is why I stay stoic. I don't want to hear other people's opinions because they're not as good as mine. So I don't want to hear them. I'm capable of analyzing the game and going, this is who I like, and this is how I look at the game. I never saw Vegas as an option getting points because I'm afraid of the running back. And I didn't want to bet against them. I took the over because I watched the Vegas Syracuse game go to 85. So I'm like, well, they can do it. And I remember the Oregon Boise game 71. So that would be a little bit more. Oh, well. Now, what I do in Teaser World is I replace the loser. So I had them with somebody else. So then I replay the other side of it because I still like the other side. And anyway, Boise over should have cashed. Too many field goals inside the 10, of course. And then in the fourth quarter, we got one, the whole fourth quarter. Where was it? But that happened. That's why it's it was a middle bet because it was Friday night, which I hate. See, Saturday, they're all in the Saturday routine, but when you start making the games on Friday, what was the point of that? Nobody could watch Boise against UNLV, which was a great game. Normally, it's a tease the dog game when you got two strong teams like that, but again, Boise's a little bit stronger than Vegas. Good morning, G. Gentry was bottled up all game. Yeah, we still got 135 yards. And he's usually good at bouncing off. So he hits a guy and then he knocks him out and then he keeps going. But that's okay. I'd still play it over. I still would not have played Vegas in the points. I think Boise, like you said, if they get a few more touchdowns inside the 10, it's a different game. But anyway, just a second. I got to get my pita. It's pita-ing. But that's why all the games are like that, where another turnover here or misses a field. I think we missed a couple field goals. I missed a couple of field goals in the Syracuse Pitt game that would have put me over. I had 44. I had 54. I needed 56. and there was 2 or 3 missed field goals. So it's always like that. That's why we can't bet 1,000% on the games. I remember I was in class. I told one of the teachers, because I was in finance, well, I'm really good at handicapping. He says, well, you should bet all your money on one game. I said, no, I shouldn't, because I pick 75%. I don't want to risk all of it on one game. It could be one of the 25% I lose. I'm much better at betting a lot of games. That's why I bet so many, because I'll win 7 out of 10 and then a couple losers and then more winners. And at the end of the day, you win. Every once in a while, I do what I did in the pros and go 10-0, which happens. But every game I bet I like, and I think can win. It's just I'm so able to pick so many games because of the details that I look at that say, yeah, this is a good game. Like Eastern Michigan. Who the hell has Eastern Michigan today but us? And it's a good bet. And I'm betting it's the Z team. Who else knows about Z teams? Probably just us. How about the World Series? Yeah, I actually was on TV, because most of the games aren't on TV, so you don't watch it. And I do disagree with him pulling the starter, and then the pitch that the guy hit for the home run was grooved right down the middle. Like you didn't throw a breaking ball with the bases loaded there. So I thought it was kind of a bad pitch. I noticed the Tigers were getting a lot of groove balls right down the middle, hitting out, going, wondering how they're winning. Well, yeah, but if it's fixed and they're grooving the ball down the middle, I guess that's what happens. So it looked like a groove, especially if Freddie Freeman was injured and he's got a bad ankle. What are you doing throwing that ball? Throw the ball, throw breaking balls at him. He can't move. It's like Kirk Gibson hitting his home run. Guy had a pulled hamstring. You don't want to just throw fastballs down the middle. You kind of want to. Plus, I would have probably walked the guy. He's the only guy that could do that because he's clutch. So you want to get to a guy who's weak. That's how you want to play it. Gee, I always have an issue with deciding how much to play and whether I should keep playing 2-team teasers or 4. I always play with $5 to $100. I can't play straight teasers because my bookie doesn't allow it. What do you mean by straight teasers? So I try to string 2 locks or 1 lock and pick it. Well, a teaser's got to be 2 teams, if that's what you mean. So when you say a straight teaser, it should be 2 teams. That's the whole idea. You adjust the 6 points and then you get the teaser. So you can tease it, but you've got to pick a second game. That's the whole idea of it. So you can't do 1 team. Oh, no, that's the whole thing, right? Idiot manager brought in a pitcher that hasn't pitched in a month in a crucial spot, and he's a starter, not a reliever. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I knew nothing good's going to happen. You got Shotani on 1 pitch. I don't know what Shotani was thinking about. Good catch by the guy, and then and then they walk the one guy to get to Freddie Freeman. Oh, I guess the lefty doesn't work, does it? I thought it was an option for 2. No, gee, the you have to do 2. The option is if you want 3 or 4. So you should be getting good odds for 3 or 4 team teasers. When I hit the 11-team teaser, I think my odds were like 30 or 40 to 1, which really aren't that good. Hitting 11 teams, and I did, and to only get 40 to 1 or something. Maybe 50 to 1. It was crazy. It should be like 100 to 1. Yeah, that's the beauty of the teaser. It's the 6 points, and then you've got to pick the 2 teams. Now, for you, you got to just build your bankroll. So you want to bet between, what are you saying, $5 and $100? Well, I would just bet comfortable, bet the locks for a little bit, maybe $20, and then do a 4-team teaser with the 4 locks or 5 locks and just lock them up and do it for $10. You'll get good odds, and then You just keep rolling, building your bankroll so you bet more. So just start with like a $20 bet, I guess. Or I know I give a lot of plays, but on the locks, maybe go 20, 25, and go from there. Now you got all the locks this week. You got college and pro, so you can make a big teaser, not for for $10 and get good odds. So that's kind of what you want to do. But the goal is to build the bankroll up, and as you're building the bankroll, you're then betting more. That's how you know to bet more. Oh, I got $1,000 bankroll. Now it's up to 2,000. Oh, no. Now instead of betting $25 a game, I can bet $35 a game, and keep building the bankroll and keep building your bets. That's how I do it. I mean, I'm terrible at odds, unfortunately. Yeah, I should keep doing that. What about odds that you are terrible with? I mean, if you they'll tell you what the odds are. So if you play a 3-team teaser, you should get money. It should be like 105 or 110. So you bet 100 to win 110 or something. And a 4-team teaser should be bet 100 to win 125 or something like that. And shop around. Well, you have a bookie, so you'll take that, but you can shop around. I don't really trust these, FanDuel and all that. Any MGM is 13 to 10, and I wouldn't play any of them. You'd have to pay me a lot of money to play one of those. Just so you can see the Teaser King is playing at MGM. No, that ain't never going to happen. All right. Any word on Haynes King today? I see he's still questionable with his oblique. I see no news on Jalen Daniels yet, which I assume we'll see tomorrow morning. Well, it depends how many teams you're talking. I can look it up. I would say on a 2-team teaser, it should be 11 to 10. You bet 110 to win 100. You add another team, should be like you bet 100 to win 110, 115. And then you get 5 teams, should be bet 100 to win 125 or something like that. They're screwing with the odds, like they've lowered the odds in craps and they've lowered the odds in blackjack. So it's harder to win, even if you do hit the blackjack. It should be 7 to 6, is now 6 to 5. Well, so what you want to do is, the King is out. Thank you, Alex. How about Brady Cook for Missouri? I know Noel looks like he's out there running back, but Brady Cook's questionable now also. They're getting a lot of points from Alabama. If Cook plays, it's probably not a bad bet. Because I'm noticing the line go down a little on that. I think that line's way too high. But it's hard to bet because we don't know King's backup or Cook's backup. So what you do is you shop the casinos and see who gives you the best odds. Basically, it's like going to anything. Just a second. All right. So you got to check the line. So it's like It's like looking for gas, right? Certain gas stations, um, will be, 3.30, and then you find a gas station that's 3.20. So which one do you go to? Well, whatever the cheapest price is, because it's just all gas. Cook is probable. And so there you go. That's a good one. Now, that's a 3:30 game, so we can debate on that one. But Noel, I think, is out. Um, Alabama, you can pass on them, and Cook's a very good quarterback. So we'll have to see. But I noticed the line dropping. Now, the question is, Cook's got a bad ankle. What will he be able to play the whole game? Alabama, I don't know. They lost 2 out of 3. They beat Georgia, and then they lose to Vanderbilt and Tennessee. How they lost to Tennessee with that quarterback, I have no idea. Now, when we look at that game, we look at Missouri. He's got a 16 defense. Tennessee's defense, I don't know what that was. They're not playing this week. Let's see. Tennessee's defense was last week was a 17. So here you got a very similar defense in Missouri. Missouri is an outstanding team. They've been struggling. They haven't been getting the offense because the running back went to the Niners and then went to the Rams. They're not using him for some reason. He was a great running back. So I'll have to see. Now, to answer your question, G, you got to like the games. With me, it's all feel. So I feel the locks. So what I would do if I were you is I'd bet stronger on the 2-team locks. And then you bet, maybe you bet a $50 on the lock. And we got a couple of locks. And then you do maybe a $10 or $15 where you put 4 or 6 of the locks together going, well, these are the strongest plays. Let's try a 6-team teaser. And then maybe you do the other locks and you do another 6-team teaser, but you do them for $10 or $15. Hopefully you got to see the breakout of the odds. In other words, 4-1 might give you bet 100 to win 120, but then 5-1 might give you 140. Oh, okay. Well, I can find the other team. They do that in those teaser cards. When I go to Vegas, it's like there's a point where it goes from like 10-1 to 25-1, right? And I got to do is find one more game. So that's why a lot of the times I'll play the 11, 12, 13 team teaser because the odds go from 200 to 500 if I find one more game, and I can find games all over the place. And they're hard to hit. That's why you can't bet $1,000 on them. They are hard to hit, but you bet a little bit on them, a 40 or a 50. But when you start dealing with 11, 12-1, you're probably betting maybe 10 or 20. I think I bet 25 or 30 on my 11 teamer, and I won like $600 just because the odds on hitting it are slow, but I hit it. So that was good. Well, you're welcome. You've just got to look at, do you like the games? And then if you're going to bet them anyway, you can see all my bets. So I bet a lot, but within reason. And every game I bet, I thought I was going to win Boise over yesterday. I mean, that was the play. Now I stayed stoic because I got an email saying, "Oh no, take Vegas." I says, "I don't like Vegas in 3.5," and he was teasing it. And I said, "I still don't like him at 9.5. If I liked him, I would have played Vegas and bet the over." But I'm not going to get talked into a bet, right? I'm stoic. This is who I like. I like the game over. I'm not going to take Vegas. If I like Vegas and I would. what I liked in the game was Boise with the 26 defense and Vegas with the 22, who we knew got lit up by Syracuse, and we knew Boise lit up Oregon. So there was all the means that this would be high scoring. And I know Vegas has a good defense once in a while, but it didn't show up against Syracuse. So is the defense that strong? But the point is, I asked him, where'd you get this from? He didn't answer. I don't care if you guys go to other people for their locks, but you want to come to me to get it approved because, what's the explanation? So he gave me a little of the running, but basically I didn't like it. But I like the game over. And so I'm not going to, if somebody gives me a game, I don't want it. I don't do anything with it unless it's a game I already like. So if somebody gave me Boise over, I've already bet it. Okay. But didn't really like the 9 points. It's just like, today I like Eastern Michigan plus 3.5. That's your free play. And if somebody gives me Akron, I'm not going to bet Akron because somebody gives it to me. And I'm not going to bet the game over under because I like Eastern plus the 3.5. I think it's a joke. I didn't see any major injuries. So I'll bet against the Z team with an over getting 3.5 all day. All right. So good questions. So we got Cook playing. We got Kings out. Tomorrow we got Daniels is now questionable with the rib, which usually means he'll play. And you got to keep a close eye on that because they'll probably make the decision today or tonight, maybe tomorrow morning. My gut feeling is he'll play because he's, it's football. It's Sunday. You only get so many of these games. They really can't afford to lose their game up on Philly. And I don't think he got hurt that badly. Now, I don't know. They might be cautioning it and say, no, he's the superstar. We got to keep him healthy. That I don't know. If he plays, I'm sure they'll rib him up but getting Washington a 9 against Caleb is a big 25-unit lock. I mean, that's an easy one. All right, that's a no-brainer. Because Caleb can't cover, and then Daniels you can't stop him. So that's what I think. But if I get Mariota, I'm not locking Mariota. Now, I might still play Washington with Mariota, but we've seen Mariota before. He's not very good. All right. Let's go to the lines. So we start off with Virginia Tech 10.5. 52.5 line hasn't moved. Virginia 3, 58.5 to North Carolina. Line down from 3.5. And 58.5, 59. Ohio 5.5, 45.5 to Buffalo. Down from 6. The Sharps betting on Buffalo. North Texas, Tulane. This game's really moving. Tulane is 7.5. The total went up to 70. It was 66 or something, I think. You can still get a 69.5 at FanDuel. What can I say? North Texas, we know, lights it up. They'll put up 40 easy here and give up 40 easy. I don't know how strong Tulane is offensively. I got them as an A team, but they have a 20 defense, so that scares me playing it over. I would prefer playing it over with Charlotte, who has a 34 defense, but they don't have an offense. You look for another over, like App State gives up 38. So you get North Texas and App State. App State's an over team with the 38 defense. North Texas is an over with the 36 defense. You're going to get 80 points there. But with Tulane, Tulane should score, but, with a good defense, maybe they hold North Texas to field goal. It's hard to say. Notre Dame 14-50 against the Navy. I like the Navy here. I really don't. They're too good of a team to just give 20 points to, and Notre Dame doesn't light you up. They don't scare me like, they did lose to Northern Illinois. Let's not forget that. I certainly won't. All right, Ohio State's up to 25.5 from 25. Well, that's what I had, 25.5, 48.5. They are off of a loss. They haven't played since Oregon. Look for them to be pissed off. Ole Miss, 18.5, down from 20. Why would anybody bet Oklahoma? Oh, they got a new offensive coordinator. Yeah, I'm sure he's a winner too. It doesn't matter. You don't have a quarterback. And 48.5. I doubt Oklahoma scores in this game. Memphis 17-57 to Charlotte. So I like how Oklahoma's got killed by Texas, and then they got killed by South Carolina on 3 pick sixes. And the coach is feeling it, and no, it's not me. Let me fire the offensive coordinator. It's his fault we didn't score in 2 games. Yeah, well, you're going to not score in 3 games. Hey, Prophet, good morning. Welcome to class. Indiana, 5.5, 54 to Washington. Love Indiana, but the quarterback's out with a hurt thumb. Now, he's supposedly only going to miss 1 week, which is amazing. I guess he thinks he's playing hockey. 5.5, 54.5. Washington, we've seen them on the road at Iowa get killed, or Michigan State, one of those two. Indiana's probably one of the best teams in the country. Definitely a playoff team, definitely a top 5 team. And you don't have the quarterback. Now, I'm sure the backup, he didn't look terrible last week. I think he got in a little bit. Or that's Georgia Tech's backup didn't look bad either. He's got such good play calling that all the crossings and hit the backs out of the backfield and everything, they'll be open. Washington doesn't give me they're an under team. They don't really give me that offense. So it's a no play, but I would jump on Indy if the quarterback played, because Washington's not that good this year. Arkansas is 7 and 56 to, this is down from 58 down to 57, 56 to Old Mississippi State, who's been scoring a lot lately. They don't have a defense, but they're now, I got them as an over team, the 33 defense. Arkansas, I don't like the quarterback. He's a good, he's a athlete, whatever that means, but he can't throw worth shit. And that's really what I want in my quarterback, not a guy who can run. Then when I play him at running back, these coaches outsmart themselves. I got Arkansas as a B team. Old Mississippi State could win this game. App State, 7.5, 59 to Georgia State. App State's offense is there with Aguilar, but no defense. 38 defense. Georgia State, a 30 defense, a W. App State, maybe they can win, but how do you bet on a 38 defense? Miami of Ohio, 10.5 or 11.5. Pick your poison. And 47.5. Central, that line hasn't moved. Central is the over team. Not a great defense, a 30 defense. Miami of Ohio, conversely, is the under team. They don't score, but they have a good defense. So I think this is, too high. I think Central covers 17.5. Too good of an offense. East Care, 7.5, 48.5 to Temple. East Car's an over team, 28 defense, and Temple's the Z team with the 32 defense. Alabama against Old Missouri. This line is down from 17.5 down to 16 now. Brady Cook, as Alex has pointed out, should be playing. Now, how long he goes, he's got a hurt foot, hurt ankle. The running back, Noel, is out, I believe, or very doubtful, so he's not going to do anything. Now, programs like Missouri have backup running backs that are probably decent. And the receivers, they got a really good receiver, Missouri. 16 defense. They're an A team, and they did beat Vanderbilt. Alabama couldn't. Alabama is not Alabama. They've lost 2 out of 3. I mean, they got killed by Tennessee without a quarterback. Brady Cook should light them up pretty good today. Milrose, they'll be all over Milrose. Milrose is not going to just sit back and throw for 4 touchdowns here. Missouri is they're a top 5 team when healthy and playing well. They haven't really played well, but they've only lost once to Texas A&M, beat them by 40 points. I don't know what the hell happened there. So keep that in mind. This is not an easy Alabama play. Missouri is not North Dakota State. This is a very strong team. So keep an eye on that. This should be a close game. UTSA 9-54 to Tulsa. Well, they're still an 8.5. UTSA is starting to play better. An over team with a 30 defense. Tulsa's a W with a 35. I don't know. Frank Harris is gone. I don't know what's going on with UTSA. Game of the day, UCF 2.5, 53.5 to BYU. Coach Prime. Oh, no, this isn't Coach Prime. This is UCF, who's lost 4 in a row against BYU, who's undefeated. BYU with a fairly strong defense until I saw the Oak State game, and they came from behind to win 38-35. BYU will play them very tough. They're the A team, the 20 defense. UCF's an over team with the 26. They like to run the ball a lot. You ain't going to do that against BYU. Very live dog here in BYU. UConn 7-47 to Rice. Hard to believe UConn's favored again. They were favored last week, lost to Wake Forest. They're a B team this year, 22 defense. They can score. Rice is an even team with the 26. I don't know. Hard to bet on UConn. Minnesota 5.5, 46.5 to Maryland. Maryland, they stole one from USC last week. They were down 14. Minnesota, very strong defense, good under team. Probably will shut down Maryland. Oak State, Baylor. We got Baylor -7, 6.5, and total is 64.5. Both their teams are over. Oak State with the 29 defense, Baylor with the 26 defense. Free pick, Eastern 2.5, 50 to Akron. Let me give a score on this game. Eastern 30, 37, Akron 13. How about that? Just came out of my head. Akron Eastern will score. Good quarterback, I believe Snyder, and 26 defense. Akron doesn't do shit. This is a Z team. They don't score in the 37 defense. Beautiful. Northern Illinois, 12.5, 47 to Ball State. Northern Illinois beat Notre Dame and then went in the crapper. The only other game they won was as a dog. They lost to Buffalo. They lost a couple others. I don't know. Sometimes I guess if you beat Notre Dame, you just don't care anymore. You thought they would have fed on it. Northern Illinois with the 16 defense, now an under team, and Ball State is a 43 defense. I don't know how you trust Northern Illinois. They're not scoring. Iowa, 14.5, 38 to Northwestern. Northwestern with no offense, 20 defense. Iowa, good running back in Johnson. B team, 20 defense. They're at home. Who knows? Iowa is like, you fucking beat Washington, lost to Michigan State by 20. I mean, I don't. Bad coaching. Good running back. He couldn't run last week. I don't know if he's going to run on Northwestern, but good running back. And they played Ohio State, lost 35-7. I mean, it's, is Ohio State that good? I think so, yes. Oregon, 21.5, 54.5 to Illinois. Look for them to just blow them out at home. Typical Oregon. Illinois beat Michigan. They'll be flat. They had to fly to Oregon. Look for them to be like thinking about Michigan's win last week. I don't know how anybody gets ready for Oregon except for Ohio State. TCU, T-Tech, Patrick Mahomes team. We got 6.5, 65.5, 66. They're both over teams. Tech with the 36 defense has that great running back, good quarterback. TCU, we know they're explosive with their coach and a 27 defense. Look for points. Western Michigan, Kent, Western. Where are they? Where are my boys? I know they're here because I know I've been looking at them all week. Western. There they are. Western Kent. They're up like 8 games from where I was looking. Western is up to, call it 19. 61, up from 59. So money's going on Western. Kent's a Z team. Kent gives up 46 a game. Western gives up 36 a game. So it's not a pretty sight, but Kent really can't do much about it. They don't score very 250 yards a game. Western's much more explosive. They'll probably, probably win by 30. It's a Z team. Toledo, 2.5. Bowling Green, a 21 defense. They're an under team. Toledo's an 18 with a 19 defense. It's in Toledo, laying 2.5. Wake, 353 to Stanford. Again, they got this game. Wake might score for you, but what's Stanford going to do? Their quarterback sucks. So it becomes a really difficult bet because I can't bet Wake going across the country. We saw Miami go to Cal, and they were down 3 touchdowns. So you got to be careful in this game. I'd much prefer taking this game if it was at Wake Forest, but not at Stanford. James Madison, 24-52 to Southern Miss, who fired their coach, I believe I was reading. There's a lot of coaching fire. I think East Carolina fired their coach. Oklahoma fired their offensive coordinator. The problem's the head coach and the quarterback, not the offensive coordinator. So James Madison, 24-52.5. Against Southern Miss, the Z team, 34 defense. You would think James Madison would kill them. They put up a 70 on North Carolina, and I would think they'd come close to that today. What's the over-under? Only 52.5. That's kind of weird. I guess that you're not going to get many points from Southern Miss is what they're telling you. Because James Madison's got an 18 defense, so this is an A team against a high school team. Cal, Oregon State. Cal, 10.5, 49.5. Cal's pretty good this year. They're an under team, 18 defense. Not what you think about when you think about Cal. Ott, still the stud running back there. Oregon State, over team with the 27 defense. Got killed by Oregon. I think they lost to I think they lost to Charlotte last week or something like that, or Nevada. I think they lost to Nevada, who's not bad last week. So Cal should get the W here. Texas, Vandy. Texas is 17.5, 51 to Vandy. There is one 18.5 and 51.5. Vandy beat Alabama. That's about all I can say. This spread's way too high. Definitely, I recalculated the last 5, the conference games. Texas is a 28-15, so they'd still be a B team. Vandy's a 30-22. They're also a B team. So we know Texas, a little bit better defense, but they played Oklahoma with no offense and Michigan with no offense, and then they get Georgia, and they put up 30 points on them. So I think that's what Vandy's going to do. Vandy should be in the mid to upper 20s, and you're getting 18.5 plus 6, 24.5. Go Vandy, beat Navy. Texas away from home. All right, they beat Michigan, but again, they had no quarterback. Dago Pavia is a very good quarterback. Don't fuck with him. He beat Alabama. That's all I can say. New Mexico, Colorado State. Colorado State 4.5 was 5.5. Sharps are busy betting on New Mexico. and a total of 62, down from 63. Mexico's been over all the time, 43 defense. Colorado State's even team, 27 defense. They've been playing a little bit better. I don't love their quarterback, but probably a high-scoring game just because New Mexico, apparently you can't stop Dampier. You can only try to contain him. Good quarterback and a 43 defense. So it's just like up the field, down the field, touchdown, touchdown. I would think this is an over game. South Alabama 744.5 to Lou Monroe. South Alabama's the over team, Major Applewhite, but he hasn't been scoring. And Lou Monroe's an under team with a 20 defense. So should be a good game. Arkansas State 7.5, 50 to Troy. We hate Troy. They suck. And Arkansas State 7.5. West Virginia, Arizona 5.5 now, up from 4.5. I don't know why. 51.5. Arizona's done nothing. They got like almost shut out. They lost to Kansas State 31-7, and last week to Colorado they got blanked and they didn't score. And West Virginia is a 29 defense, so they should move a little bit. Hopefully Fajita still knows how to play, but they're not scoring, and West Virginia's 29 defense, so there should be points in this game. But I've already lost twice betting them over. I ain't doing that again. Miami 21-54.5 to Florida State. They'll kill them. They're gonna kill them. They're gonna kill them. They're gonna kill them. Ward, it's at home in Florida State. It's just terrible. I mean, Ugly Boogly, I probably won't play. The backup sucks. Ugly Boogly, it doesn't matter. 286 yards for a Florida State team. Unbelievable. Miami's getting 551, 21 at home, down to 15. Looks pretty appetizing. 22 defense. Florida State's not going to be able to do anything, though. They don't have a quarterback. Utah and Houston. Now, we know Cam Rising's out for the year, so we don't have to ask that question again and again. 4.5, 37 Utah. Houston's pretty strong defense, 23, although sometimes they give up 35. A W, they don't have much offense. Their quarterback stinks, Donovan Smith. Utah, their backup is Wilson. Look for them to run the ball a lot today, and they have the great defense. So I don't think a lot of points here. Wyoming and Utah State. Wyoming was a 2-point favorite many moons ago. Now Utah State's 2.5 and 57.5. Utah State's the over team. I've been scoring a ton. They give up 44, 500 yards a game. Wyoming's a Z team, 30 defense, 252 a game. I still think Utah State wins this game fairly easily. Bobby's game, A&M, 2.5 or 254.5 to Bobby. We saw LSU beat Ole Miss, and A&M's okay, but you're not stopping LSU. This is A versus A 19 defense for LSU, a 17 for A&M. I think LSU's the better team here, and they're getting points. Enough said. Michigan State. This game's been all over. This has been 3.5 up to 6. Now it is 4.5. Michigan's going back to the original quarterback who sucks. How bad's Tuttle? Orgy, I don't even think's dressing or playing. Michigan's in big trouble. Their coach is terrible. Terrible hire. They have no quarterback. So you got to blame the coach. I mean, these quarterbacks are high school quarterbacks. Why didn't the coach get a quarterback? So the defense is okay. Michigan State looked really strong against Iowa. Think of this as Oregon State. They're used to the big games with Oregon, with everybody else. So they played Ohio State and Oregon. They got their ass kicked, but Michigan will be nothing after those two games. So look for State to be able. I think this will be a close game, and they're both under teams. I heard on the radio they're wondering, well, why are they betting the game under? The over-under is 39. Well, because both teams have a good defense and the quarterbacks kind of are weak and they can run. And the only play you can make on this game, I mean, you can play the team, is you can't go over in this game. So we will see. But, yeah, this should be a tight game. Penn State, Wisconsin. Penn State, 6.5, 47.5. I have no idea. Wisconsin's starting to play. The defense is a 17. Penn State has a good running back, Singleton, and a good defense. They just don't have a good coach. 14. We thought with the Kansas offensive coordinator, they'd be lighting it up. They've been scoring a little bit more. I think this is a tight game. Penn State, I'm surprised is 6.5 over this. I don't know. Maybe Wisconsin's a live dog. It's the backup quarterback. So Kentucky is 1.5, 44 to Auburn. I mean, this is. I got to bet this game. Auburn's okay. Kentucky, we know they're under team. Auburn's that, and 21 defense for Auburn, 19 for Kentucky. We will see. This should be very close, very low scoring. Kansas State. Kansas State 10 and 55, 54.5. Big rivalry. Kansas is playing much better with Daniel, their quarterback, starting to figure it out. Kansas State's always good. Pretty good defense, 24-20. Very good game. SMU 11-49 to Duke. Down from 11.5 from 12. SMU is very good. They're an A team with a really good defense this year, 20. They switched quarterbacks, and it's been fine. Duke, they came from behind against North Carolina, but I don't think they're going to do that against SMU. They're a B team, pretty good defense, 17 defense. Fresno State, San Jose State, this is a rivalry game. Fresno State, 4.5, 55. Was 5.5. Mikey Keene, San Jose State with the Navy coach, very good team. This is a tease the dog game, I think. Colorado, prime time, 6.5, 57 to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, they're both strong A teams. This is tease the dog, Washington State, San Diego State. Washington State, 14.5, 57 to San Diego State. Washington State's an over. San Diego has no offense. They're an under team. And our last game, Hawaii, still 44.5. We love Nevada if we got the quarterback, Lewis, one of these option type of quarterbacks, but he can throw pretty well. He's still questionable. Again, it's as of October 21st. It's the 26th. All I can say is if the line stays like it is, he's not playing. Now, he's undisclosed questionable. But we don't know what that means. All right, so that is college. There's nothing I can do but go into the injuries. Well, I can go into, let's try Google. So this would be a good play if we get Lewis. I mean, Nevada's a better team than Hawaii. They just beat Oregon State. Hmm. I'm getting this. Well, he'll be the starting quarterback. No, no, no. I'm asking today. Let's see. Spectrum News. Embattled Hawaii team readies for Nevada and critical. How could it be a critical game for Hawaii? Um, let's see. I'm not getting the clear answer. I can only say, okay, Nevada's starting quarterback today. I can't get an answer. I would say just keep an eye on the line. So this game is this is the midnight game. So of course we'll bet it because we like waiting it till 3 in the morning to figure out if we won. Like today, waking up to see if we got the over in the Boise game. All I can say is if you see the line move, Hawaii's -2. So if at 9 o'clock at night it's still Hawaii -2, you know he's not playing. Forget the bet. All of a sudden the game goes even, then bet on Nevada. What game are you betting? I missed that. I'm talking about Nevada, Hawaii tonight. If the quarterback plays, we'll bet Nevada. If he doesn't, then we're not going to bet anything. He's a good. They've been playing well, Nevada. So again, I can't find data on it, but we'll see. That's about it. So, any questions, comments? Boise screwed you. Well, they screwed me too, but that's part of it. We know we're not going to pick 100%. Unless it's pros. So looking to continue my 100% in pros. We'll talk about them tomorrow. So I'm back to work Monday. And so I'll be busy during the day. So we'll still do everything. We'll just do it. I'll probably go right to the pool and then we'll do night classes and go from there. You can always email me questions, comments, and stuff. but nothing will change. It's just I won't do 10 o'clock in the morning classes. It'll be more like this. Hey, Pat. Russia is attacking the IBMA and COMEX now, wrecking the silver shorts. Well, good for Russia. I know that's what I heard. We never heard them saying they're rolling out the gold back currency, but they might not say that. They did talk about it. I saw it on the agenda. This other pay system, it's just, it's stupid. It's what it is like now I can't PayPal Daria, so I have to PayPal her sister. Her sister switches banks and sends her rubles. And I think so. What they're doing is basically getting away from the SWIFT system, but that's like a debit card. That's not the same as the gold back currency, and that's coming. That's why everybody needs to buy gold to have the gold back currency. They're doing it wrong. This one currency where they want to trade in each other's currency won't last because their currencies are worthless. So that won't help. That won't help them. That's why they need the gold back currency, because the currencies will all go out like ours will. And so I saw it kind of on the agenda, but they didn't. And I didn't really hear that. Oh, we're going to roll out the gold back currency, but I think that's coming very soon. But everybody's buying gold and the dollar. Everybody's de-dollarizing. So, God. So we know that's what's happening. So good for our Goldie. Okay, G, go ahead. Have a nice day. Good luck. Time is running out to get silver. I talk to you tomorrow, G. Yeah, I mean, I went and bought 11 ounces last week, and he didn't have much. He had some kind of worn out kind of. They weren't like I like getting the real fresh buffaloes, and he had a few of them, but he didn't even have 11 of those. And then he had the Liberties, and then he had some that were like the 20 in the case that he didn't want to break up. And I didn't want to buy 20. I think where my point is, I got over 600. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'd like to get to 1,000. Now that I'm back to work, maybe I'll get to 1,000. And I'd like to get to 100 ounces of gold. That's my goal now as I'm working. And but when you think about it, if you got 1,000 ounces and gold and silver goes up $100, you made $100,000. And when gold goes up 100, you'd make 10 grand because you'd have 100 ounces, not 1,000. I mean, if you had 1,000 ounces of gold, but who has that? Just real big hitters. That's a lot of money. 1,000 ounces of gold. I'll try to get to 100. But that's where it's at. And you just know it's going up, but you got to realize, like, everybody poo-poos the $50. Oh, that's as high as it goes. No, that's COMEX. I was watching Mark McGuire yesterday, and the guy's an idiot. All right, I'll show you my comments. So, any other college football questions, just pop in. Let me show you.
It's up 50 times since 1971. I'm talking about total debt. So obviously, you know that total value of an economy, let's say, is $100. And then to help the economy, you print another $100. Doesn't mean that the economy is worth $200. It's still worth $100, but the money has just lost half of its value. And that's what's happening in the world. And that's what the world is going to pay for in coming years. Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance.
So I left this comment. on our friend Mark McQuire.
I think the next 3 to 6
So
months.
he had this idiot on.
Months we've seen in markets in.
And here's my comment. What a joke. He's listening to my classes and coming off like it's his. Fiat dollars are worthless. Gold and silver can't be printed. Solar panels, they're not money. The professor. And of course, where did you find this idiot? Popular demand, BS. He's clueless. You can't do technical analysis on a fixed market like gold. It doesn't work. He's trying to say I'm a technical analysis. Well, we've talked about it here in football, where we're doing technical analysis to pick the games, and you can't do it because of injuries and new quarterbacks and new, changes, variable changes. So he's trying to say he does technical analysis and he could spot this and he spotted that. And it's all technical. It's all bullshit. It's all because of of JP Morgan and the Fed printing money or doing derivatives. You can't technical analysis that. So he, buy these stocks. Well, you can't buy stocks. The stock market is going to crash, you idiot. Technical analysis works until the system blows up. I strongly believe we're at the blow up moment. Technical analysis only works in a free market. It'll work in football if you got the same quarterback and coach like Kansas City, Mahomes and Andy Reid. Then it works. It doesn't work with Here's Caleb now, who's new for the Bears. It doesn't work for them because you don't have any technical analysis to use because he hasn't played there before. He's new, or you get a new coach. So there's a lot of teams that, Washington, you got Jalen Daniels. How the hell do you technical analysis? See, that's my point. So if gold is price fixed, how do you do a technical analysis? They're chasing the derivatives. That's why you still see the price go up and down as it goes up. They're shorting the derivatives. Now, I don't know if you can do $10 and $20 derivatives or they're just losing their ass, but they keep 10 o'clock drop and then 11 o'clock goes back up, and they just got their ass kicked because they did a derivative wanting the price to go down and the price kicked back up. Morning, Real D. The charts are indicating that the metals can't be held back anymore. Also, palladium and platinum. You don't need charts for that. That's my point. Why are gold and silver going up? Because the dollar's going to zero. Do you need a chart to tell you that? What can the chart tell you about inflation? Is that part of your chart? Is that a variable on your chart? I doubt it. There's reasons that we're buying gold and the dollar's going out is because they're printing too much of it. It's got nothing to do with the technical analysis. You can't technically analyze it and say, oh, it's because of this. It's all fucking fixed. It's a price fixed issue that you can't do a technical analysis. Believe me. I'm telling you, in football, I can't do Jalen Daniels. I can do Mahomes because he's been there with Andy Reid. I can't do San Diego because now I got Jim Harbaugh. So what am I going to look at? Him at Michigan? I can't look at San Diego last year with the other coach. So I got a new technical analysis with San Diego, with Denver, with Bo Nix, with Washington, with Daniels, with Chicago. You can't look at the old stuff. There's too many different variables that are not there before. This is my point. You have derivatives, but now you got Basel III making it a tier one thing, and they're taking delivery. Where are you going to look at that? Where do you see that in your technical analysis? You can't. So that's my point. There's no technical analysis will not work for gold or silver. It's going up because the U.S. is printing the dollar to death. Where's that in your technical analysis? And so it's forcing all these people. Now you have BRICS. Where's BRICS in your technical analysis? It's not there. Too many different variables. You can't use it. The shorts blew up Friday last week when it jumped to 33. Yeah, but what did it didn't do anything. Well, the doors are, no, they're not. It's still derivative. So if we look at what you're saying, so I got gold at 27.48, right? It went up. It went up because they didn't do derivatives because they couldn't. Okay. This is 33.70. This was 34.50. It went down. What do you mean it's due? It's not due to do anything. Hopefully this will go. This is supposed to go to 45 now because it broke 32.75, but they put in new derivatives. This is going up because the dollar is crap. You don't need a technical analysis to tell you that the dollar is printed too much and worthless, and all the BRICS countries have to buy gold, and so gold's going up, and they can't do the derivatives because they're losing their ass doing the put options to short the price. They can't do it because they're losing too much. So what are you looking at technically that says anything about this? This is going up because BRICS is making the central banks buy gold. That's why it's going up. There's no technical analysis for this. This is supply and demand based on BRICS, based on them making all their banks buy gold because they're coming out with a gold-backed currency. Where is that? Where are you looking at that technically? It doesn't exist. That's my point. You cannot do this technically. You just look at what's happening. It's like me looking at the Missouri game. Well, Brady Cooks. Let's look at the Georgia Tech game. The Kings is out. Well, that's not a technical analysis. That's looking at the quarterback being out on the team. It's BRICS buying gold. That's why gold's going up. And then here comes silver because the dollar's going out. They're going to buy silver. You don't need a technical analysis for that, and it doesn't work for that. That's my point. You can only do it if it's I used to do it in football when you could, and it would be this team's a very good road underdog, and they'd be 15-1. Like Seattle used to be a great road dog with Coach Pete, and anytime they were a dog, I would lock Seattle plus 8-9 points, and they'd win. That's a technical analysis that works. Now Coach Pete's not there. Harbaugh's now there. There's too much variable that you can't look at the old stats and use them. It's over for the riggers. Well, it's been over for a while. They're still doing it for some reason, but I mean, they're still doing it in silver. I mean, you're still seeing this option at 12 o'clock going from 34 to 33.55. So don't tell me it's over. Don't tell me it's over at 5 in the morning going from 33.55 to 33.10. And then at about 11:30, it goes down. So don't tell me they're not doing it. They're clearly still doing it. The question is why, and why is this the system? In Russia, I played a video with Putin, and I'll share that again with you. Nothing Mark McGuire, terrible video. Don't waste your time.
4 years ago, I ran for prosecutor to keep our kids and our families safe.
Sure you
We're
did.
making progress. Violent crime.
Holding the chairship in the grouping to deliver my statement first. Then the floor will be given to all heads of delegations. I kindly ask you to observe the time limit of 7 minutes. Are there no objections? Thank you. Distinguished heads of state, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. What we are all witnessing today is dynamic development of BRICS, as well as strengthening of its role and influence in global affairs. The participating states of our grouping have a truly vast political, economic, scientific and technological, as well as human potential, while being united by common values and a shared worldview. It would be fair to say that BRICS includes like-minded sovereign states representing different continents, development models, religions, unique civilizations, and cultures. All our states stand for equality, good neighborly relations, and mutual respect, for the assertion of the noble ideals of amity and harmony, as well as shared prosperity and well-being. Not in words, but in deeds do they demonstrate respect.
All right, see right there. Let me
for the
pause it.
world.
Putin proposed establishing a BRICS platform for diamonds and precious metal trading. And there goes COMEX out the window. There goes all the little options and all the bullshit by JP Morgan. Because he will do this, a BRICS platform for that, and we will get a real precious metal and diamond price. Diamonds are fixed too by De Beers. We don't care about that because they're not money, but we do care about the precious metals. So that's what BRICS is going to do. So you can throw out all these option crap because we'll get a real physical price. That's what we're looking for, is a free market physical price of gold and silver. That's why these guys who talk about all this, Mark McGuire's guy, this Oliver, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm a technical analysis. Well, good luck on that. I already know it doesn't work. I was in the pool yesterday, and some guy, I'm telling him to buy gold and silver. So he's, well, I want to research it first. I says, what are you researching? It's simple. Well, where do I go buy it? Go to my store at 5 Mile and Hagerty. I've already done the research. It's the best price. It's cheaper than eBay. It's the best store around. There's no tax. You go in and buy it. They always have some form of inventory. So I said to the guy, I've already done that legwork. I'm telling you to go there because it's the best price. It's, you're paying a little bit more than spot with the premium, and that's where you go to it. So he said, well, I'll start buying. And I go, no. You can't start buying it with the anticipation it's going to be there. It's going to be very hard to find the gold, and at what price? I mean, we're looking at 3,000 very soon. And then we're looking at 3,500 and probably up to 5,000 soon. And it's going to keep growing because as the Titanic, see this Oliver that's why I said he was stealing my words, because he's talking about momentum, which I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but he's talking about people getting scared. And I'm like, where did he hear that from? That's the Titanic. So as people get frantic because the boat's sinking, they now jump to the lifeboat. And as people realize that this is worthless, all of Europe realizes this is worthless, what are they going to do? They're all going to stampede to gold and silver. And then the U.S. will be the last group because all our guys believe in the 401ks are worth something. And they will go that way. And then when they realize they've been made off, they will start jumping into gold and silver, but it'll be so expensive they won't be able to get it and or won't be able to find it. Because for me to give up my gold, you better put 4 zeros after it. So it better be 20,000 for me to give up my gold. And I don't think I would at that point. I would give up 1 ounce. I'm not giving up more than that at 20,000 an ounce. So you're going to have to pay a lot for me to give up my gold is the point. And that's where the panic's going to set in because everybody, I need it. I'll give you 20,000. I'll give you 21,000, 22. That's what the panic is. So this Oliver tries to come across like it's his idea. It's amazing. The dumps are getting more and more ineffective. Well, that's the point because there's too many buyers. So really what you're trying to say is there's a lot of buyers. There's a lot of demand because all of BRICS realizes they need to get out of the dollar because they're all de-dollarizing. All these countries, 159 countries want to go on this new BRICS system because they don't like SWIFT and they don't like the U.S. They don't like being bullied around. And so they're all getting out and they need gold. You want to play, you got to have gold. So they're all buying gold if they can find it. I mean, they're buying James Bond 400-ounce bars. You can't just find those anywhere. So that's what's happening, and that's the whole point. And the rigging is they keep getting The rigging is because they can't, it was a game before. It was doing derivatives to set the price. It never was a free market system, COMEX. So it was never intended to be me and you buying 1,000 tons and watch the price go up. No. But now what's happening is a lot of people are buying gold and silver off of COMEX. Instead of going through COMEX, they're going right to the mines and buying it. So there'll be a physical price coming. But COMEX, why we're using COMEX is just it's so ridiculous. That's how polluted the free market is in America. It just isn't there. So we're using COMEX to set a price that isn't even real. It's nowhere near real. So when you buy your gold and silver now at $27.50 and at $33.60, just times it by 10. That's the real value because it's being held down. And if there's this much demand for it, it's worth a lot more because people are like, it'd be like bananas for a nickel at the grocery store. You'd go buy 20 of them, right? Or 50 of them. Or I go get barbecue ribs and he's selling the slab for $1. I might buy 10 slabs. That's how gold and silver are. They're so cheap that people can't believe it. So they're buying a lot of it. But all the BRICS nations have to buy gold because when they go on the gold-backed currency, you gotta belly up to the bar with your gold. You want to play. How much gold do you have? So I think they're all going to have some gold. And they'll probably have Brazil will have the Brazil gold-backed currency, and Russia the Russia gold-backed currency, and China. Instead of one BRICS gold-backed currency, which is what I would have done, which is sort of like what the euro is, each country, I think, will have the gold and have gold-backed currency, I think is the idea. And that'll be their money. And then they'll have that pay card so they can do debit purchases back and forth. I don't know why they call this blockchain. Who gives a fuck? It's a ledger. Oh, really? Never heard of a ledger before. I don't get the big deal about blockchain. It's not anything new. I work with general ledgers all day at work, and it's the transactions. And I don't know what you want because it should just come out of your bank account. You got $1,000, you spend 100, you got 900. Why is that so difficult? I don't understand it. So you might not like SWIFT because it's American. Okay, so they're coming out with the BRICS instead of the SWIFT. Okay, fine. Our dollar has no value because there's no demand. Once you lose demand, you lose value. It's as simple as that. And that's where you're at with it. So nobody wants it. Only nobody realizes that nobody wants it yet. We realize it here, but most people don't. In the stock market, I mean, you're gonna see that crash. You just want to get out of all that. You want to get out of the banks and the stocks, and it's going to crash. It's just a matter of when. But don't play it like I'll time it, or don't play it like no, it won't. Yeah, it will. It has to. It's all toilet paper. And with the competition of BRICS, that's what you have. So you have BRICS saying, hey, you can use our dollar. The game's been you're Switzerland and you want to buy euros, you had to sell your Swiss for dollars and then take the dollars to buy euros. Why? It's the stupidest thing. That's why everybody hates the US, because it's a Ponzi scheme. And it's terrible because the US is getting fees each time they do it. And I'm Switzerland. I'm like, why can't I just buy fucking euros? Why do I got to do? So this is why everybody's joining BRICS, because but there's been nowhere else to go because this the way the system's set up. So now everybody wants to get out of the system. Well, I'm paying all this extra money to the US for what? So now you'll be able to buy directly. The Swiss guy can go buy the euros directly. That's what BRICS is doing, which means the US dollars come back, which means the inflation, the money supply goes through the roof back here. And you're done. You're toast. You can't print $150 trillion, have a $36 trillion debt, and ignore it. Like, oh, yeah, no, it won't be a problem. We'll be fine with it. No, You can't do it. So that's what's going on there. So the summit, I tried finding stuff like this. It was hard to find. We're going on the go back system, and the announcers, some of the videos was also hard to really find. That there's a funny clip here on Reagan versus kind of what Reagan said versus what Obama. I'm going to play that. You'll like
now,
this.
One side in this campaign has been telling us that the issues of this election are the maintenance of peace and prosperity. The line has been used, we've never had it so good.
I won't have to worry about putting gas in my car. I won't have to worry about paying my mortgage. You know, if I help him, he's going to help me.
But I have an uncomfortable feeling that this prosperity isn't something on which we can base our hopes for the future.
The key point I'm making right now is that the economy is moving in a positive direction.
And yet our government continues to spend $17 million a day more than the government takes in.
You're telling me we got to go spend money to keep from going bankrupt? The answer, yes, I'm telling you.
We've raised our debt limit 3 times in the last 12 months. And now our national debt is 1.5 times bigger than all the combined debts of all the nations of the world.
We're going to raise the debt limit. We always have. We will do it again.
We have $15 billion in gold in our treasury. We don't own an ounce.
Hear that, Luke?
That the majority plans to block consideration of this amendment, which is number 1367, regarding the transparency at the Federal Reserve.
Foreign dollar claims are $27.3 billion.
It said that China has now surpassed Japan as the U.S. government's largest creditor, owning at least 10% of all U.S. debt. Perhaps as much as...
Did you get that one from Reagan? He said, we've got all this gold and we don't own any of it. So, Luke, you keep thinking we have gold. We don't own any of it. That's 1980.
$700 billion.
And we've just had announced that the dollar of 1939 will now purchase 45 cents in its total value.
President Obama is expected.
That's what inflation is. The value of the dollar dropped. So $1939 worth 45 cents in 1980. What's it worth now? 1 cent. This is what I try to explain to you, how the dollar loses value. So you think you have $100. You do, but the value of the $100 is $1. It's lost its value. That's what the point of, that's what inflation is. That's what I'm trying to explain. It's not worth anything. So if you have $1 million of those dollars, it's not worth anything. But gold, on the other hand, never loses its value because you can't print it or inflate it. Gold goes up, the dollar goes down. Which would you want to be in?
To face tough questions over the U.S. decision to pump $600 billion freshly printed dollars into its economy. Now, the move is an attempt to revive the country's finances, but will result in the devaluation of the dollar.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
We've got to give them a stake in creating the kind of world order that I think all of us would like to see.
And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours,
you'll construct a legal regime to make indefinite detention legal.
History will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers.
For some trips, it'll be faster than flying without the pat down.
Anna was picked to go through. Pretty much everybody except the baby was picked to go through the scanner.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
Damn America, that's in the Bible.
Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
I've got a core set of values that I think have to be advanced, and that my individual salvation depends on our collective salvation.
You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down.
We had an election, and it was about a direction for our country.
And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. In this vote harvesting time, they use terms like the Great Society, or as we were told a few days ago by the president, we must accept a greater government activity in the affairs of the people.
E pluribus unum, out of many, one. In the end, that's what this election is about.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.
Over the course of 10 years, it would cost what it would cost us. All right, okay, we're going to. It would cost us about the same as it would cost.
Here's 3 signs you have an inflamed prostate.
So that was pretty eye-opening. But the biggest thing is we don't have any gold. It's not ours, it's China's. And as the dollar gets printed, it's worth less and less and less. Those are facts. That is what I teach. Maybe if you hear Reagan say it, you go, yeah, that makes sense. Because I'll say it, a lot of people don't understand it. Not you guys, but at the pool or something. And it's frustrating because I know that's what's happening, and I know that's what's going to happen. And you're like, okay, you know, like Luke's friend, I got $4 million in my 401k. It's worthless because those dollars are not worth anything. 4 million monopoly money is still zero. And that's, I think, the hardest part. Anyway, let's check college football again. It's 11. Now we're just really looking for any kind of line movements. The big noons game starting 20 minutes. So we got VTech 11 over Georgia Tech, so he's not playing. Virginia 3.5, 58 over North Carolina. Ohio 4.5, 46 to Buffalo. The North Texas Tulane 7.5 and 70. The over keeps being bet. Notre Dame 14, 50 against Navy. Ohio State noon game 25. 48 to Nebraska. Ole Miss 18.5, 49.5 to Oklahoma. That's a noon game. Memphis 17, 56 to Charlotte's a noon game. Indiana 5.5, 54 is a noon game to Washington. Arkansas 7.5, 55 to Old Mississippi State's a 12:45 game. And now 1 o'clock. App State 7, 58.5 to Georgia State. Miami of Ohio 10.5, 11.5 to Central Michigan. This is a 2 o'clock game. East Carolina 7.5, 49 to Temple. Alabama 16 and 51. This is 3:30. This game 16. It's really down to 15.5 now. All the money's not going in on Roll Tide. It's going in on my Missouri team. So 3:30 games. We got UTSA 9.5, 54.5. We got UCF 2.5, 53.5 to BYU. We got Connecticut 7:47 to Rice. We got Minnesota 5, 46.5 to Maryland. We got Baylor 7:64 to Oak State. We've got Eastern 2.5, 49.5 to Akron. We've got Northern Illinois 12.5, 47 to Ball State. This is still 3:30. Iowa 14.5, 38 Oregon 21.5, 54.5 to Illinois. We got Texas Christian 5.5, 65.5 to T Tech. We got Western 18.5, 61 to Kent. A lot of 3:30 games. Toledo 1.5, 48.5 to Bowling Green. Wake 3, 53 to Stanford. So at least it's a 12 o'clock game for Wake. Or no, at least it's a 3:30 game for Wake. James Madison 24-54 to Southern Miss. 4 o'clock, Cal 10.5, 49.5 to Oregon State. 4:15, Texas 17-51 to Vanderbilt. Colorado State 4.5, 62 to New Mexico. South Alabama 7, 44.5. This is 5 o'clock. 7 o'clock, Arkansas State 7.5, 50 to Troy. Arizona 5.5, 51.5 to West Virginia. This is all 7 o'clock. Utah 4.5, 37 to Houston. Miami 21, 54.5 to Florida State. Utah State 2.5, 57.5 to Wyoming. 7:30. A&M there's a 2.5 and a 1.5 against LSU 54.5. 7:30. Michigan 4, 3.5, 38.5, 39 to Michigan State. We've got Penn State 6.5, 47.5 at Wisconsin. 7:45. We got Kentucky 1.5, 44 to Auburn. We've got Kansas State at 8 o'clock on 10 and 54.5. We got SMU 11-49 to Duke. Fresno State 4.5, 55 to San Jose State. 10-15, Colorado 6.5, 57 to Cincinnati. We've got Washington State 4.5, 57 to San Diego State. And your midnight game, Hawaii's 2, 44.5, waiting for the Nevada quarterback. So that'd be your games. There's one I got to add, but it's a night game, so don't worry. And that's about it. So, yes, we have no gold. That's been verified. We have the derivatives are starting to be stopped. So that's another. We have gold 2750 basically on its way to 3,000, probably 3,500. You can see it doesn't just shoot up because they're still trying to make money on the derivatives going down. They still do put options. These are the dumbest people I've ever heard. If everybody in the world's buying golf clubs, why would you short it? If everybody's buying gold, why would you short it? It makes no sense. So it's just really stupid. Anyway, that's what we have. Good luck today. If you want to buy, www.teaserking.com. I have 5 locks going in college, and I have 4 locks going in the pros, and it could be 5 if Jalen Daniels plays, which we'll probably know tonight. They'll probably announce it, or it'll be, if it's a game time decision, he might go, but he's still hurt. He'll try, but if we know tonight, just bet it. They're getting 3. You get Washington to 9. That's probably the best lock I would have had all year. So try to go with that. Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Anyway, good luck. Your free pick is Eastern Michigan. You get plus 3.5 in the teaser, of course. Tomorrow's free pick is Pittsburgh over the Giants. Pittsburgh even. I mean, with Russell Wilson back, Daniel Jones, I mean, it's a joke. So Pittsburgh's playing very well. And you're really betting the defense and Russell Wilson, so it's a real good play. Look for Navy to give Notre Dame a game. Look for Missouri to give Alabama a game. LSU A&M, very strong game. Cincinnati, Colorado, very strong game. BYU with UCF, very strong game. Texas, Vandy, very strong game. Kansas, Kansas State, Cincinnati, Colorado, Michigan, Michigan State, rivalry game. So there's some games on there, you know, your night games, Kansas, Kansas State, Cincinnati, Colorado. If you're winning, bet on them, and if you're losing and you need a night game, bet on them. And then you've got the Sunday, all the Sunday games, which we can't wait for. Any other questions or comments? All right. Good luck to you tonight. www.teaserking.com. Let me just check emails if there's anything new. Somebody needs something answered. All right. Nobody new. All right. All right. Well, have a good day, everybody. Game start in about 10 minutes. So it's noon. It's 3:30. It's 7:30. They try to schedule everything in. It's so stupid. But anyway, good luck to you today and have a good day. Again, if you need me, www.teaserking.com. Get my email and certainly email me. Or then tomorrow, if you want to buy tomorrow, just go to the site and buy it, and we'll go from there. All right, everybody. Have a good day. Take care. Good luck.